The woods are beautiful in morning light, golden, quiet, and alive. But once the sun sets, they become something else. A place where echoes outnumber answers, and where some people walk in but never come out. This is the story of Evan Miller and Grace Turner, two small-town dreamers who thought love could conquer anything. But on a cold night in October 2007, their story was rewritten by the forest itself. And for 18 years, no one, not even their families, would know what really happened, until a drone flew over those same woods and captured something no one could explain. Hit like, subscribe, and stay with us as we delve into this haunting crime story. Evan and Grace had been inseparable since high school. He was quiet, hard-working, the kind of kid who fixes neighbors' fences for free. She was bright, artistic, always painting little scenes of their hometown. Scenes she swore they'd leave behind one day. They didn't have much, but they had each other. And on October 14th, 2007, they left for a weekend camping trip in Pine Hollow Forest, a place locals said was peaceful in the day, but cursed by night. When they didn't return by Monday, their parents called the police. Officers found their truck parked by the trailhead, engine off, doors locked, keys still inside. But the tent was never found. Neither were Evan and Grace. For years, people searched. Volunteers combed the woods. Drones, dogs, helicopters, nothing. No bodies. No footprints. Not even a scrap of fabric. It was as if the forest had swallowed them whole. The lead investigator, Sheriff Dean Porter, was a man with authority and a reputation for arrogance. He called the search a waste of taxpayer dollars and told reporters a couple had probably just run off. They were young, he said. Probably got tired of small-town life. Happens all the time. But the people who knew them, their families, their friends, knew better. Grace had just been accepted to an art scholarship in Boston. Evan had been saving for their wedding. They had every reason to live. Still, Porter closed the case after 6 months. And for 18 years, that file collected dust, marked cold case number 77. Then, in the fall of 2025, a college student named Ryan Jacobs was testing his drone camera near Pine Hollow. He was studying landscape photography, trying to capture the fog rising between the trees. But as his drone moved deeper into the forest, he saw something strange. A faint glint, like light bouncing off glass. He zoomed in, and that's when he saw it. It was a car door, rusted, torn from its hinges, and beside it what looked like two skeletons, holding hands. The coordinates were sent to police immediately, and when investigators arrived, the truth they uncovered would leave the entire town speechless. The site was over 3 miles off the trail, a small clearing no map ever marked. There, hidden under decades of growth, was an abandoned ranger cabin. Inside, investigators found a stack of photographs, hundreds of them, all of people who had gone missing in Pine Hollow since the 1980s. And in the very last photo, dated October 14, 2007, Grace and Evan were smiling, but behind them stood someone else, Sheriff Dean Porter, the same man who had dismissed their disappearance, the same man who closed the case. His handwriting, the same one on every file, matched the labels on those photos. It turned out the man who swore he'd find them was the one who'd led them into the woods that night. When confronted, Porter denied everything. But investigators uncovered dozens of reports he'd buried. Missing hikers, campers, couples, all linked to his old jurisdiction. The town that once trusted him now demanded justice. For Grace's mother, it wasn't closure. It was confirmation that monsters don't always hide in the dark. Sometimes they wear badges. But before Porter could stand trial, something else happened. Something that no one, not even investigators, could explain. When the drone pilot reviewed his raw footage again, he noticed something in the corner of the frame, right before the feed cut off. A man in a sheriff's uniform, walking toward the camera. But Sheriff Dean Porter had already been dead for 3 days. The night Sheriff Dean Porter was found dead, the town slept through the storm that rolled over Pine Hollow. His heart had stopped in his own home. No foul play, no sign of struggle. But when the coroner checked the time of death, it raised one impossible question. How did he appear on camera 3 days after he died? Some said it was an editing glitch. Others swore the forest was finally showing its face. But for Grace Turner's mother, it felt like one last confession. A message from the man who'd taken her children. Detectives returned to cabin, searching every inch. Beneath a loose plank in the floor, they found a wooden box, sealed with resin. Inside, old cassette tapes, each labeled by date. The last one was different. Written in shaky ink were just 4 words. They wanted to leave. They trusted me, said they wanted to see the stars from the fire tower. I told them it was safe. I told them the forest keeps secrets. Those were the last sounds anyone heard from Evan and Grace. But in the background, faintly, under the hiss of static, investigators caught something else. A second voice, whispering, "Don't let him find us." For weeks, specialists combed through the cabin's foundation. Behind the old chimney, they found a false wall and a narrow staircase spiraling down into earth. What waited below was a room lined with metal shelves, preserved food, lanterns, and a single narrow bed. Someone had lived there for years. The drawing wasn't Grace's. It was dated 2012, 5 years after they vanished. That's when investigators realized they might not have died that first night. Maybe the forest didn't swallow them. Maybe someone kept them hidden for years. A retired park ranger came forward, Earl Dalton. He'd worked under Sheriff Porter back in 2007. Earl claimed Porter often stayed overnight in those woods, even after retirement. When asked why, he said only, because the girl kept singing. That song, later matched to a lullaby Grace's mother used to hum, appeared faintly on one of the last tapes. Investigators traced its sound to a cave half a mile from the cabin. Inside, they found evidence of 2 people living there, a locket, a paintbrush, a rusted tin cup, but no remains. Instead, written on the wall in faded charcoal were 4 words. We saw the lights. Meanwhile, Ryan couldn't shake what he'd seen in his video, that figure in uniform staring into the lens. He enhanced the clip frame by frame. What he uncovered changed everything. The number belonged to someone else, a deputy who'd gone missing in 1993. Henderson's body was never found. Yet here he was, or something wearing his uniform, walking toward the camera in 2025. Which raised one final question. How many ghosts does Pine Hollow really hold? The town demanded every case linked to Porter's jurisdiction be reopened. Dozens of families finally received closure. And for the first time, the forest that once symbolized silence became a place of truth. He thought he could bury them. But even the earth got tired of keeping his secrets. The power had shifted from the man who silenced lives to the families who gave them voices again. Months later, a rescue team surveying the same area found something beneath the roots of an oak tree, a rusted metal box. Inside, 2 wedding rings tied together with a blue ribbon, still shining after 18 years. Evan and Grace had kept their promise. Even in fear, they'd stayed together. But as the team packed up to leave, the drone operator looked down at his monitor and froze. There at the edge of the frame stood 2 faint figures, a young man and woman, hand in hand, watching silently from the trees. Locals say the forest finally let them go. Others believe the woods still guard secrets, waiting for someone else to listen. Some stories end in courtrooms. Some end in justice served. But others, like this one, end with a question. What if the place that took everything from you was also the only place that remembered you? This was the story of Evan and Grace, 2 souls who vanished into the woods and whose truth refused to stay buried. The drone showed us what we weren't supposed to see. But what if it only captured part of the truth? Tell us what you think happened to Evan and Grace. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to not miss out on any of our content. And we'll see you next time on the Crime Scene Stories.